Alright guys, Gemini, back with another video, and this video needs to be made, and it's not a popular video. It's not a video that I expect a lot of people to jump on the bandwagon with or like, but it's just something that you know, it needs to be made, it needs to be said. People oftentimes come to my YouTube channel and they say, "Hey Gem, why do you still buy the DVDs? Why do you still buy pro wrestling DVDs when it's available on the network?" And you know, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Okay, when you come from where I came from back in the day, let's start with the backstory. Back in the day, I started on the internet in 1992, okay, on CompuServe. So I've been on the internet for 25 years. Back in the day, 92, 93, it was hard finding other wrestling fans to connect to. There was no YouTube. There was no nothing. I mean, I could remember back being on AOL back in the early 90s on WWF.com. And it was not like it was today. Back then, if you wanted to watch a pro wrestling show, you had two ways of doing it. One, you either bought the pay-per-view, which we didn't even have pay-per-view till 92. You took a VHS tape and you recorded it and you marked it, and that's how you went back and watched that pay-per-view. And that's how you had a pay-per-view collection back then, because back then in the magazines, the pay-per-views were about $50 each. And when you're a kid, you have no chance. So you had to record it from live pay-per-view, and that's how you built a collection. It was hard to get. Okay, back in the day, you either did that or you would go to a store like Sam Goody, you know, back in the 90s, and you'd pay a lot of money for that VHS tape, or Suncoast, and you'd pay a lot of money for it. It was hard to acquire. It was a goal to get that tape, and it took a lot of money, and it was hard to get. I mean, I blew up my collection on tape trading on the internet, VHS tape trading, back in the 90s. That's how I acquired so many tapes. I would trade one event that I made a copy of, and he would record a copy and send it back, and we would trade tapes back and forth. And that's how we acquired it. That's where all this came from, was through a collection, you know, through paying attention to the magazines, through paying attention to WrestlingDVDnews.com, through going to the stores. And so that's where I came from as far as pro wrestling collection. The WWE Network wasn't around. It wasn't here yet. And it's constantly get thrown back in my face. Why? You know, do you still collect pro wrestling DVDs when it's available on the network? You come from where I came from. When you spent a lifetime building this collection, you spent a lifetime building your pro wrestling collection, you don't just quit because you're renting it on the network. You know, it's a hobby that you built through the years. And that's kind of the backstory. It's constant. Why buy it if it's on the network? It's a hobby. It's a passion. It's something I started in the early 90s. I know it's on the network. But there's some things about the network that aren't so hot. For one, I would pick, say, right now, Judgment Day 2008. If I had an itch and I wanted to watch Judgment Day 2008, I would not watch it on the WWE Network. I would watch this DVD. For one, the picture's a hell of a lot better. For two, pausing and rewinding on the WWE Network, it's hard to do. You skip spots. I use the WWE Network for certain things. I use it for Total Divas. I use it for Legends House. I use it for pay-per-views. And that's why I pretty much pay for it, is the pay-per-view price. But, you know, the question, why? Why still do it when it's not needed? It's a hobby. It's a passion that I can't explain to you guys unless you're a hardcore tape collector from back in the day. You know, it's not something you quit on. You know, trying to find hardcore tape collectors and VHS tape collectors and DVD collectors on here is tough to do. Everyone's really spoiled by this network. And back in the day, There was no network, so you went out and bought the stuff. You went out and made the collection, and that's how you acquired this. I got bad news for you guys. WWE Network's not going to the UK. It's not. They're definitely delayed in the UK, and there's a reason why. Because the WWE Network is causing it's causing a lot of problems. This thing is not a guarantee. You know, there's going to be a day and a time when, you know, quite frankly, this thing could fold over. It could. It could fold over. And people are going to be pissed because they're going to lose all that footage. You know, if they fold this thing, if they keep losing their ass and the McMahon sell, there's no guaranteed future about the WWE Network. McMahons are losing millions and looking to sell. You know, this is a guarantee. This is a guarantee to have that historic footage right here. I could pull up any year in wrestling right here, and it's not going anywhere. It's right here in front of me. I could pull it up anywhere. I'm not renting it. I own it. It's like a house. You know, it's better to buy a house than rent a house. I mean, you rent a house if you need to, you know, because it's just the way it is. You know, you can rent a house. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I've rented houses before. I own my house. You know, I own the footage, and it'll never be taken away from me. I came from a time when collecting footage was a very prestigious thing and a very hard thing to acquire. And because some new fancy network has come along, I've seen so many people quit on their collections and just say, ah, screw it, it's right there. It doesn't make sense to buy it. It does make sense to buy it. You own it. It's just hard to find the same passion, intensity, you know, that I once saw on here on YouTube, man. I mean, like I said, back in the day, everyone used to go crazy on wrestling DVDs, and now it's really hard to find pro wrestling DVD and tape collectors. There's a few, you know, but not many left, man. So that kind of answers the reason why I pick DVDs over the WWE Network. You know, it's a hobby, it's a collection, it's a passion, it's something I've been doing for a long time. And so every time somebody says, well, I got the network, I don't need that, you might need it one day if you want to keep up with the stuff, if you want to have the annals, if you want to have the archives. Network's not a guarantee. This is a guarantee that you'll never be shut out. Even if the WWE dies and folds tomorrow because McMahon sell and they go to a new company, and the new company doesn't want to, they want to sell off parts of the WWE, and WWE is done, it still lives on. You know, when they close the network down, if they close it down, I hope they don't, because I like the cheap price on the pay-per-view, so I hope they don't close it down. I'll be set, man. I'll have wrestling for life. Wrestling will always be a part of me. You know, this collection will always be a part of me. You know, Gemini, this will always be a part of me. And I wouldn't depend on this network too much, guys. I wouldn't, because they are losing their ass. Not going to the UK, it's not a good sign. McMahon's rumored about selling, not a good sign. Vince McMahon practically begging you to subscribe on Monday Night Raw, not a good sign. It looked like he was in tears. The Wiz. It's not a guarantee, guys. You know, I'm telling you, this whole time you guys should have still been collecting your DVDs and not depending on this network stuff, man. I'm telling you, if you can't afford it, the network's the way to go, but you're renting the footage, and if this network folds, there's no guarantees about nothing. Really, just being honest with you guys. Collecting pro wrestling DVDs is fun. It's a hobby. I'm not trying to tell you what you should and shouldn't do, but if this thing folds, you're covered. You're covered because you got it all right there. And of course, if they fold, you can always pick them up on Amazon and stuff like that. You don't have to stop collecting if they fold, but it's nice to have a guarantee, because you can bet if the network folds, all the price on this stuff will go through the roof because everyone will be trying to buy it because the network folded. But it's already here for me, and I won't have to pay, you know, X amount of dollars to get the stuff back because it's here. You know, I think selling your collection at this point with as much turmoil as in the WWE is a huge mistake. I think it's a huge mistake. I think right now, as much turmoil as they have, losing their ass, maybe selling, not going to the UK, it's a time to beef up your collection and buy more than ever before, because there's no guarantee WWE's going to be around in 5 years. There's no guarantee the network's going to be around in 5 years. This will be here in 5 years. It's guaranteed for life. You'll never be shut out from your favorite wrestling matches and your favorite moments. It's right here. Network, just saying, I'm not the kind of guy to say I told you so, but I told you this was a bad idea from the start. You know, they should have just stuck with what worked. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Vince comes on TV and says, we're done, and things go back to the way they were. It would not surprise me a bit, because they are losing their ass. So you can dislike the video, you know, that's fine. It's an opinion. That's what you subscribe for, you know, but that's why I still collect pro wrestling DVDs. Guaranteed network WWE right now, not a guarantee at all. Gemini, peace.